What is up, everyone? Sean here, and I'm finally back for another game I'm going to be talking about that I did play at EVO along with my good buddy Gamma. And not only we got our hands on Dragon Ball Z, but we did finally got our hands on the Arika fighting game that I was actually anticipating the most, just because this is entirely new. Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Fighter Z was already something I know. It is coming from Arc Sys and stuff like that, but Arika, they haven't come out with anything long as time. But funny that this whole thing started as a April Fool's joke. It was kind of weird. Like it looked really legitimate, and there were a number of people that rubbed it off as a April Fool's joke, just because it happened on that day. But they put it seemed like they put so much effort into it. It looked pretty freaking good for what it was. And a lot of people like myself thought, I wonder if this is like a tease for a potentially big project coming into the future. And lo and behold, this is actually going to be a legitimate fighting game from yours truly, Arika, the developers who made Street Fighter EX back in the day. And they are coming out now with a fighting game, which is awesome. And I guess we can start talking about the looks of it. The look of this game is absolutely beautiful. There's already dynamic lighting and there's different colors going on. Even just as an early build, we played on this stage that has a lot of blue tones, but at the same time, there's a contrast to it with the torches going on in the back. And you can tell that it gives off a pretty good glow from the torches and stuff like that. It gives us a nice orange contrast and a glow as well, along with some foliage. There's some vines and grass or plants here and there. And this is an early build, remember, so this already looks really good for what it is. It kind of gives me some vibes such as Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct does have these stages that give off a certain kind of lighting that I really like, and I think these stages, or at least this look anyway, does remind me of that from Arika's fighting game anyway. So I think in the looks department, it looks really good, and there was some rain going on too. So that for early build, it looks really good. You see your characters soaking in the rain and stuff like that, and the characters themselves look pretty good too, especially with Hawke, Kairi, and Garuda, which were the playable characters at the time. Looked all pretty good for for this style of graphics. 3D characters on a 2D plane. The UI was readable for the most part. I had no problem reading the health bar and the special meter that's like right below it and all that stuff. It looked pretty good. It does the job well, and of course there are the orbs on the corners, so which is now a good time to talk about the fighting mechanics and stuff like that, the actual fighting, the actual combat itself. As much as some of the Street Fighter-esque moves are in there, it does have some resemblance to Street Fighter, of course, naturally, because these characters do come from Street Fighter EX, and these are Arika characters, so they have the right to use these characters. So kind of makes sense as to why these characters are appearing in the first place. Now with all the Shoryukens and Tatsumakis and fireballs and all that stuff you see in this fighting game here, especially from Kairi anyway. Beyond that, it's pretty different if you compare it to Street Fighter V, let's just say. The air-to-air and stuff like that was really different, which was why you see me doing a lot of the kicks out of nowhere every time I jump. It's just the jump ins and stuff like that just felt really different for me. Funny enough, so that's why you kind of see that in this video. But it's just really different, and I think that's a good. It's a good kind of different, I would say. And as different as it was, I feel like this was a much more traditional fighting game than a lot of the fighting games that have come out this time around. It's funny enough comparing to Street Fighter V anyway. Street Fighter V just, I don't know. I have some things to say about it, but this is the Arika fighting game we're talking about, so I don't want to go into that game too much. So back on this game. This game just overall felt really different. It felt alien, and it definitely will take some time to get used to. If you know you plan to get this fighting game here. But however, as much as I would say it is different, it probably is, I would say in my opinion, leaning towards back to the traditional fighting game feel. So this game will be probably a little more comparable to the older Street Fighter games that have come out over the years. Probably comparing to Street Fighter EX. I've never got my hands on Street Fighter EX, so it probably compares to that, for all I know. But if you guys play the Street Fighter EX and you guys play this as well somehow at EVO or anywhere else somehow, please let me know in the comment section below. Please let me know how the game feels comparing to the older EX games from Street Fighter, or just any other Street Fighter games that are older, really. What's your guys' opinion on that? But for me, anyway, it probably is leaning towards those types of fighting games. And I think that's a cool thing. I think that's a chance for people who have not really tried out those fighting games like myself, especially with the EX games, which is why it's a nice little treat. It's a nice little dive into that kind of fighting game. And really glad that, you know, this game has that nice makeover, this graphical makeover. It looks really dynamic. It, you know, like I said, it has that nice, you know, shine to it. The lighting and the colors and stuff like that are definitely there. Garuda looks really cool. He looks really crazy from what I've seen. And Kairi and Hawke look really good. But back onto the fighting mechanic stuff. Like I said, so the movement, the hitting the buttons and stuff like that, the footsies and all that stuff feels different. Feels different enough, but you're not going to be completely, you know, out of the blue if you're coming from a Street Fighter background. It will probably help, but don't expect it to play just like Street Fighter, at least for Street Fighter 5 anyway. It might, like I said, play like an older Street Fighter game, or just like an older traditional fighting game, and I think it's a really good thing, and I think it's a really cool feel once you get used to it. And I'm sure doing combos would be really fun. It's just, you know, of course, you need to have time to get used to the game and lab the hell out of it, just like any other fighting game. So naturally, when we dove into this game, we were just throwing out buttons, just try to do footsies and stuff like that, try to do air-to-airs, but we're just really trying to get used to the game. It just feels so different to us that it was fresh. It was you know, nice fresh breath of air comparing to other fighting games. Not that, you know, Dragon Ball FighterZ was bad or anything like that. It's just a different fighting game, which is good. We need different fighting games. We need variety. I think variety is a golden must in video games. So definitely Arika does feel different from your fighting games that you're probably used to in this day and age. Now, of course, probably the one thing that's sticking out the most on this screen is the orbs, and you're just kind of curious, probably, most likely, I don't know, but I was curious myself about the orb system. So it turns out that these orbs do come in decks. Or preset decks, and you can pretty much pick your own little loadout. There's no custom loadout just yet, maybe, but there'll probably only be decks or preset set of gems or orbs here, and these orbs are activated after certain things are achieved. For example, I picked the Juggernaut deck, which is a lot more defensive, and meanwhile Ender Gamma picked, I think, the a little more offensive, but I could be wrong. But I remember for sure on my side, I got super armor after you know, receiving 300 points of damage. So you get super armor that, you know, helps you out after, or that helps you out with one hit, I think, or a couple of light hits. I'm not too sure how that super armor works, but you get super armor after receiving that amount of damage. For example, which I know for sure, but I feel like overall the orb system was not such a bothersome thing like you would see in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. which again was a very infamous for its gen system. These orbs are focusing on the characters themselves rather than the mechanics around them. So there's no, obviously there's no ridiculous auto blocking or auto push block or anything like that. It focuses on attack, defense, and a couple other things, but or speed up, or things like that. Activating supers was a little weird for me. I've only done it like once, I think, in this footage. It's just a little different. I was still trying to get used to the one-button supers in Street Fighter 5, and now I go back to this. It's just like, whoa, you know. Again, just trying to get used to the game. It does take some time, and despite that, though, I still have fun with it. I definitely did have fun with the basic fundamentals of what I picked up from this game in this match here. From other footage that they've showed off in the past, you can do super to super to super, which is probably something really fun if you practice well enough, you put your time into it, of course, get your combos consistent. It's probably going to be one of those games that if you definitely put time into it, you'll definitely have a lot of fun with it. Just because it would probably feel really good to pull off those combos in this game. There's also running in this game, and there's just a couple other things that will make it different enough for having you to get used to it and put time into it. So overall, I think from this build anyway, it was really fun. It looks pretty damn good already in its own right, and I can't wait to see more from it. I want to see more characters in there. Skullomania was already revealed in there, which was really cool. He's like a lot of those characters that people like just because he's just really goofy, quirky, and just cool in his own right. He's making it back into the game, so that's definitely gonna have people, hop on this train that is the Arika fighting game. I'm definitely gonna consider this in the future. I don't know if I'm gonna, make a full purchase on it just yet. I do want to see more from it. It's still alien to me in terms of like the movement, stuff like that. The overall fundamentals for this game anyway, but I still have fun with it. I was able to, I think, pull off the victory here just by luck. Just use my fundamentals from other fighting games like footsies, for example. But anyways, back on this, it's really fun and really can't wait to see more from it. Looks really good. Hopefully they polish it up even more. Maybe the animations could use a little more polish. There are some moves that maybe look stiff, but that could just be me nitpicking at it. But again, I just want to see more from this fighting game. I want to see a actual name for it. I want to see how this game flourishes, and hopefully this game will come with the necessary amount of content on launch and the necessary amount of DLC that will be. So that is pretty much it on my thoughts on this Arika fighting game. If you guys got your hands on it, please tell me in the comment section below what you guys think as well. Are you guys looking forward to it? You guys want more from this game as well? Let me know all down in the comment section below, and I'd love to check them out. And don't forget to hit the like and share and subscribe for this channel. Really helps out as always, and I highly appreciate it. Next up, we will be talking about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which I did get my hands on Evo as well. And that's probably going to be the longest video out of the three, with good reason. Thank you guys so much for my thoughts on the Arika fighting game. I will see you guys in the next video. Sean, out.